very interested to see that we actually got a buy signal there on natural gas. Now, the way that I would use this weekly commodity trend survey is that if you actually get a buy signal on an asset like this here saying this, then that means based on the weekly chart, everything is lined up and it is buyable. That doesn't necessarily mean that on the daily chart, you're going to have a buy signal. What it means is that if this thing is spitting out a one and you get a buy signal in a particular market, that any kind of daily signal, and this obviously came in from the natural gas, we have a 6 there. Any kind of daily buy signal, oh boy, that's a big signal. So I do like the idea that, if we go and look, where's the best place? Maybe we'll look here. If we get any kind of daily buy signals here, oh boy, it'd be hugely bullish. So there's the daily chart of the natural gas futures. There's the weekly chart. So hopefully you can understand the logic here. So the weekly commodity trend survey just simply says, can you show me an asset that's substantially below its 50% rule, right? And, this just going back to August of is that August? Yeah, August of last year. So there's the 50% rule. Is the market substantially below that? Yes, it is. And you can see there is the moving average cross. I like to use these moving average relationships to just give me an idea of bullish and bearish sentiment, momentum, if you will. So any kind of daily buy signal here is a big buy. It's like, all right, you got the green light to go. The commodity trend survey right now, because it's a little difficult to do the futures data, we're operating primarily off of these ETFs, and there is the signal on the ETF. It's a little bit weaker. And what I would just simply say is if we get, and there is the cross, it was on that big jump up. Now, if you get any kind of daily buy signal here, this thing is a rip roaring buy. And lo and behold, what do we have happening here? Now, it hasn't come in yet. This is a weekly chart. Maybe we can go down to a daily. You can see that, on the dailies, this is actually almost like textbook what we do. What a big surprise. Markets worked its way right back down into a reload zone. And that weekly is trying to carve out an inside bar, right? That's a haremi that's trying to carve out there. So if we come in and we tick up through this high next week, that's your buy signal. This thing has spat up a buy. Look out. This thing might just take off like a rocket. So I thought that was super, super cool. And I think it's important. But the bottom line here is if you do get a 6 reading, which is our buy signal on one of these types of lists, then you pull up the asset and you pull up the daily chart. And if you get a daily buy signal, while this thing's showing a weekly buy, that's a killer entry trade as far as I'm concerned. So the exact opposite is also the case. And if we get ones, then it means that, holy crap, this market is dangerous. And if you get any sell signals on the daily charts, run for the hills. But I did notice, and I thought this was interesting, that, Bitcoin here actually spat out a 1 with this most recent weekly data print. And if anything, I like this because I agree with the system. We are now officially above 50% rules, right? There's the 50% rule, 2,300, and sitting at like 30,000 was last sort of weekend's print. Keep in mind, this is updated on a weekly basis. And we actually did start to get the moving averages starting to roll over. Fast moving averages lower than the slow moving average. So if we look at that Bitcoin chart, I think this kind of makes sense. We were talking about, is this going to fractal out? Is this going to be some sort of top? And I don't know whether you can see this or not. Maybe I'll get rid of all this other stuff. But the moving averages did cross bearishly. So we were actually sitting, and keep in mind, this is a weekly price chart. This happens to be stamped. But I like this thinking because quite literally, we were asking in the weekend's broiler chicken show with the newsletter was, is this going to create some sort of big fractal top? And I'll tell you, if this thing had rolled through there and we had gone through that low, that would have been a big M. What are we supposed to think if we see the market smiling at you? And that would have been your holy shit. That's a sell signal. Let's get the hell out of there. But notice we never did break through there. So, yes, we did have the one reading on Bitcoin, but we never did get the daily sell signal. In fact, if we go down to the dailies, you see that there were no M's here at all. A good example in both regards, the natural gas is spitting out a buy signal because it's down at the bottom end of the range and it just crossed over its moving average. And then if you get any daily buy signal setups, then go with that. And this was a good example where we had a weekly sell setup, but then market never did issue a daily sell signal. So as a result, and this you can see the moving average now, if we finish, like if this was the end of the week now here today, you can see the fast is moving back above slow. So that one reading will be taken away from the Bitcoin read. It will probably still register a 5 because we are now well off of the lows. 52-week range, 50% rule. Interesting enough, with that being November low, now the 52-week 50% level is going to be somewhere down in this area. So I've said this before, I can't justify buying this. All my style and everything that I teach you guys is that was our buy signal on Bitcoin right there on that breakout through that low there, right? And of course, right off of Brian's favorite fib, blah, blah, blah. This stuff writes itself.